everyone. Welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. Today, Al Bina from the Quincy Quarry and Granite Workers Museum joins us to talk about their new season, which begins this weekend. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, we have sunshine, 47 degrees, but it's windy. It'll be brisk with those temperatures in the mid-40s this afternoon. There's actually a small craft advisory up for marine interests because of the wind. Temperatures dip down into the mid-30s this evening, and March comes in kind of like a lamb tomorrow. Not bad with sun and clouds. It will be windy still, but mild. Look at the highs tomorrow into the low 50s. Look at the low tomorrow night. Yeah, we're back down into the basement as temperatures dip into the teens, and then staying cold for the second half of the weekend on Sunday. Lots of sunshine, though, but a high barely 30 degrees. A frigid night again Sunday night. Gradual warm up into the new week. Monday, sunny, still cool with highs in the low 30s, but we're back into the 40s and 50s by the middle of next week. So enjoy our 47 degrees with sunshine and breezy in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, the Quincy City Council this week got an update on the construction of the new public safety headquarters that's going on C Street, although the project managers reported that the building is on time and on budget. Of course, the main focus of the discussion was on plans for statues of St. Michael and St. Florian at the entrance to the new station. Now, questions have been raised about the separation of church and state and the $850,000 cost of the statues. But Quincy Police Chief Mark Kennedy said he believed the statues will be a source of inspiration for police officers and firefighters.
I can just tell you that from my perspective, they're symbols of the police and the fire department. And I think they are so much more than religious and political. I think they remind each of us of the respective oaths that we took when we took this job. And again, from my perspective, and I hope I'm speaking for the men and women of the police and the fire department when I say that I see them as symbols of protection, justice, bravery, and sacrifice. And that's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you.
City Council President Ian Kane chastised the administration for not revealing the plans for the statues when the City Council approved the $175 million cost of the new station.
It's surprises like this, especially when they spark controversy and/or political opportunism, which is what's going on here. I think people need to recognize how this issue came up. This issue was not brought to my colleagues on the City Council. This was sent anonymously to the Patriot Ledger, and that's how we all found out. So this was savvy. This wasn't meant to open up a discussion with the people who work in government, whether with the mayor's office or with the City Council. This was someone trying to embarrass us, which I don't appreciate.
Now, mayoral spokesman Chris Walker said that the mayor has the authority and has made the final decision about the statues. He said the statues transcend any religious connotation. The meeting was standing room only with people on both sides of the issue. The new station is slated to open this October. Construction will be getting underway this spring on an addition to the South Shore YMCA's Hale branch on Coddington Street in Quincy. This past week, a construction contract was awarded to Integrated Builders of Braintree for this project. It will include a two-story, 20,000 square foot addition. Now, the new space will include a new large-scale group exercise studio on the first floor and a new gymnastics center and teen youth programming space on the second floor. The addition comes 10 years after that new Y was built. Recently, South Shore YMCA's president Paul Gorman announced he was retiring after 16 years on the job and appointed Chief Operating Officer Trevor Williams as his successor. Gorman will remain on as CEO until the board appoints a new CEO in 2026. Preliminary work is well underway for the new Squantum Elementary School in Quincy. Crews are in the process of installing new underground utilities along Mayflower and Standish Roads. And on Huckins Avenue, C. Naughton Construction is installing underground electrical cables and communications infrastructure. And soon, National Grid will be installing new gas mains Access to the rear of the school remains limited, and there is no curbside parking allowed on Standish Road during this current work. All school bus pickups and drop-offs will remain along Standish Road, and parents are encouraged to park along Huckins Avenue, Mayflower Road, and Park Avenue. The park and the playground at the school will remain open through the construction period. The recent spike in natural gas bills is prompting some state officials to take a closer look at the Mass Save program. Last fall, the Department of Public Utilities approved rate hikes for Eversource and National Grid of anywhere from 11 to 30%. The increase, combined with a cold winter, have resulted in some of the highest bills customers have ever seen. State Representative Tacky Chan of Quincy says there needs to be better oversight of the Mass Save program.
Between you and me and the audience, there needs to be a full accounting of what's going on over there. It needs an external, you need to hire an external private auditor to go through and see what's happening. And the AG's office should be demanding, even though they do have a seat in the council, which they always lose the vote because it's only one seat, should be demanding greater transparency about where the funds are, who's receiving these contracts, and whether or not there's actually value being generated.
Now, Mass Save offers rebates for energy efficiency projects, but it is funded by the ratepayers. The $4 billion program is expected to increase by $1 billion over the next 3 years. The DPU is actually meeting today to determine that rate increase. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, the Quincy Quarry and Granite Workers Museum opening for the season tomorrow. We get an update from President Al Bina next. Welcome back. Tomorrow is the start of meteorological spring. It's also the start of the Quincy Quarry and Granite Workers Museum's new season for 2025. So President Al Bina is here to give us a little insight into what you can expect this year. Happy spring almost, Al.
Happy spring, yeah. It's great to be here with you, Joe.
I love talking to you about this, and I say it all the time. You don't give yourself nearly enough credit for the accomplishments that you've achieved with this museum over these past many years.
Yeah,
It started from just an idea.
We're moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
How many years now?
It's about 14 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't seem that long, but time flies,
From just a thought
yeah.
to having a museum, to having an actual physical presence.
Present, yeah, here in the city of Quincy.
On Quarry Hills Drive at the Lions Turning Mill,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
That's where you are,
That's where we are.
and that's where you'll be.
Right at the actual historic, we got a historic footprint of a part of the history of Quincy's granite at the
Yes.
Lions Turning Mill, so it was a great place to locate the museum right up in the quarry area at the Lions Turning Mill.
Yeah, instead of bringing the museum to you, you just went to the museum, basically, right?
Basically.
It was already there.
Right, we are.
Talk a little bit about the folks behind the scenes, Al, at the Quincy Quarry and Granite Workers Museum, because it's a team effort.
Team effort,
Yeah.
oh yeah. We've got about, in fact, our membership, we just got all our membership renewed. We got about 140 members.
great.
We have lost a few members.
Okay.
Some of our older members have passed away.
Yeah.
We always encourage people to join us,
Yes.
no matter what level they join us at as an individual or a business, it helps us because we're member driven. Our museum is member driven. We don't get any other support outside of our membership.
Right.
So
You are a nonprofit. You're a
We're-
501c3. That was a tremendous process to go through, I know.
Oh yes, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. I mean, we couldn't do it ourselves. We had to get legal help
Sure.
to do it. And,
Yep.
and we got legal help, and we got our 501c3.
Yes.
You know.
Yep. And the actual property is city property, right? So you're staying
It
on
is.
city
It
property.
is city property. And the interesting thing is, I'm just working on now with Quarry Hills and Granite Links. This 50-year lease that's coming up
Yes.
that they want.
Yep.
The mayor has agreed to take the Lions Turning Mill portion, that historic site, and bring it back into the city.
Okay.
Not included in this new 50-year lease.
Okay.
And I was just working with Kevin Mason and Walter Hannon, And we've designated the area, a resource area now, that's going to come back into the city of Quincy.
Okay.
So that will not be included in the new, this 50-year lease.
Yes.
If it goes through,
Yep.
It'll be back in basically the city of Quincy. And hopefully the mayor will put it under the park department.
I see. Okay.
And that'll be great for us, you know what I mean,
Sure.
to have it under the park department.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
However, it's the volunteers and the staff from the museum that actually oversee the tours, the facility, the upkeep, right?
Right, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, we do all of that, you know.
Sure.
Nothing will really change other than it'll be brought back in, that portion will be brought back into the city of Quincy.
Okay.
Versus into the lease to Quarry Hills.
Okay.
You know.
So I think it's always important just to do kind of a little recap about this, because I
Yeah.
think there are always new folks that are maybe learning about this for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
People coming into the city for the
Sure.
first time that didn't know about the history of the granite industry here in the city, or
City.
certainly that there's a museum for it as well. This is also Quincy 400
Right,
this
yeah.
year. Yeah. Will the museum be part of that?
Well, we will be part of that.
Okay.
You know, I say it now, I'll say it online here in an interview. It's amazing to me, Joe, no one in the Quincy 400 has approached us yet, which amazes me.
Yeah.
We were such a big part of this, the history here of the city of Quincy. Nobody has approached us yet from any of those committees to say, gee, what are you going to do? We're going to be doing something.
Okay.
No matter what, we'll
Okay.
be doing stone splitting, we'll be doing stone finishing, we'll be doing tours, we'll be doing the museum will be open.
Yes.
We plan to do everything.
Okay.
But I'm really amazed that the city hasn't reached out to us and yet said, gee, what can you do?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
But we'll be doing everything.
Okay.
No matter what.
Okay, all right, good,
Yeah.
good. Keep an eye on your website, I'm sure, for
Yes,
announcements
yep.
about that. Also, the Quincy 300 exhibit at Old City Hall does have a section on the granite industry.
Yes. Yep.
So there is that.
Yeah.
You know, so folks can check
Right.
that out and learn a little bit about it as well. Now, tomorrow's opening day.
Tomorrow's opening day.
Yeah. For the season. Is this early this year, Al?
No, we
No?
always open the first weekend of every month.
Oh.
And we designated March through November.
Oh, okay.
Last year, March was a great month for us. It was, Mother Nature was good. February was good. We opened the first weekend, and it was great. The weather was great.
Yeah.
This March, Mother Nature hasn't been that good to us. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had the snow, and like I said, I've been up there the last couple of days, and that snow actually turned to solid ice.
Oh, boy.
And it's like a skating rink.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So I was up there the day before yesterday. It has melted a little bit. What we're going to do is we'll be there.
Okay.
Open the museum and the geology, kind of our geology museum. But it's going to be tough to let people walk around the actual churning mill and see some of the artifacts. So I don't think we're going to have to open that part of it because of safety reasons.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was up there the day before yesterday, and there's 2 inches of ice
Oh,
in
my
the middle
goodness.
of the turning mill.
Oh, wow.
It was like a skating rink, you know?
Well, it's it's a low area, and
Right.
it's shaded,
Right.
so it's going to take a
Yeah.
little while
Yeah.
for folks to.
So we
able
will
to
be
get-
there. We will be there,
Okay.
and hopefully we'll be able to open the museum and the little geology museum too.
Okay,
You know.
and they can certainly see the turning mill
Sure,
relics. They
right,
just can't
yeah.
walk amongst it.
Or
right,
walk
right now.
among, yeah.
Unless they have ice skates.
Yeah. They would have needed ice skates a couple of days ago.
I
I'll tell
believe
you,
it.
you know?
Well, it just gives us something to look
Yeah.
forward to later
Yeah.
on in the season. Have you had any special requests for openings up until this point? Because I know you'll do that if folks.
Oh, we'll
actually
do that,
go.
yeah.
Have anybody asked you so far this year?
Not this
just
year.
yet, okay.
Not in the winter season. No one has asked for a special opening or a tour to come in because,
Okay. All right.
again, it's not a safe environment walking around with all the snow and the ice.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So-
no, that's for anybody too, not
Yeah.
not just for folks who have a
Right.
hard time getting along. That's for
Right.
anybody. You don't want any accidents, I'm
Don't
sure.
want any accidents,
No.
that's for sure.
Now, as always, you brought some pictures.
Yep, we
Yeah.
brought some pictures.
And we love to do this show and tell,
Show and tell.
portion with you to give folks a little snapshot about what's going on at the museum lately. So we have a, looks like a carriage.
Yeah, no, this is the actual replica of the first commercial rail car in Quincy here.
Oh, this is?
This is the actual replica.
Oh,
It's amazing. It was in the fire station at the House Neck. A contractor that had to do some of the work down there, it had to be moved. It was all in pieces.
yeah.
So he said he volunteered for the city. He said, let me take it to my shop and I'll
Yeah.
put it together. He put it together And then he said, well, now what are we going to do with it? Nobody knows what they want to do with it. It actually belongs to the Historical Society.
Oh, it does?
It does.
Oh,
They don't know what they want to do with it.
okay,
The city doesn't know what they want to do with it right now.
okay.
So what did it do? It ended up at the Quarry Museum, which
Okay.
hopefully it'll stay
It'll
there.
stay, yeah,
It'll stay there,
yeah.
you know, because this is actually where it should be. You know, because we're a stone's throw from the actual terminus of the railroad. We're a stone's throw from the Inclined Plane Railway.
Yes,
You
right.
know,
Yep.
so this is actually the area where the first commercial railroad was actually. You know, so
Okay.
hopefully minds will come to the conclusion that this is the place for it to be. Well, anyways, we have it there now, and it'll be on display this year here.
Okay,
There.
all right. It looks very much at home there, I have to say.
Yeah,
So this is a replica, not the original?
It's the replica, right? It's the
Okay.
replica that was built in 1926
Okay.
for the 100th anniversary of the Granite Railway.
Oh, all right.
1826,
Yeah.
1926.
Okay. And do you know where this was displayed originally, Al?
It was displayed at the Commonwealth Museum.
Mm-hmm.
It was put together and was displayed at the Commonwealth Museum. Then it went to the Dave Hodgkins, who tried to start a museum here in
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Quincy.
sure.
The compressor building at the Inclined Plane. He had that in his little museum there.
Okay.
So it was assembled there.
Yep.
And after that, it just got disassembled.
Wow.
And it was stored at the House Neck Fire Station for years.
Wow, yeah, I know they're doing an expansion there now.
Expansion,
so,
yeah.
So they had to get that
So
out
they
of
had
the
to get that out. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So hopefully we got it now, and like I say, we'll do some great interpretive information about it, and it'll be on display for the people that come to visit the museum.
Yeah, yeah.
And hopefully we'll even interest some railroad enthusiasts.
I would think so.
You know,
I would think
bring
so.
them into the museum and
Into
into the history of Quincy.
Sure, it's
The
a big
inter-
part of the granite industry.
Big
was the
part of the
railroad,
granite
right?
industry, yeah.
Because these were the vehicles that were used to transport the granite blocks, right?
For the Bunker Hill Monument.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of a big thing. Hopefully, like I say, we get a great display this
Yeah.
year here to show the general public.
That's a great new addition.
Yeah.
It's a great new addition. Yeah. Thank you for showing us that. Let's move on to the next one
Yep.
and see what is up. Oh, okay. Here's your
This is actually
inside display.
This is an inside display.
Yep.
We got a display of John Horrigan.
Mm-hmm.
John Horrigan carved the Titanic statue,
Really?
and we've got a nice display of his pictures, the statue, and actually some of the tools he actually used to carve the statue. You
Where's
know,
the
they're all-
statue now?
It's down in Washington D.C. on the Potomac.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Huh. And is it made out of Quincy granite? too, now?
No, it's made out of Westerly, Rhode Island
Rhode
granite.
Island.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll never see a statue. I always tell people, Joe, you'll never see a statue made out of Quincy granite because Quincy granite is so hard.
Yeah.
They couldn't get the details, the fingers, the nose, the
I see.
ears, the mouth. So it had to be a softer type granite, which Westerly granite is much softer. Barry granite is much softer. So you'll see statues in Barry, Westerly granite, but never a Quincy granite statue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why it was so good for things like columns, right?
Columns, right.
Pillars.
It was strength. It was a very hard
structural
granite.
items.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Moving on.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting building. I don't know if you recognize it. You probably wouldn't recognize it now. But this is the Malnati building in South Quincy,
Ah,
where they used to hold the Italian
I
festival.
remember the festivals. Yeah.
Every year was held at right at the square at the Malnati.
Malnati's.
Malnati
yeah,
building.
Malnati's block, they used to call
Like,
it. Yeah.
it was torn down. It
Oh.
burnt. It had a fire. It was torn down.
Oh.
And the owner donated all the granite that was in the face of the lower part of this building.
Yep.
To the city of Quincy. So
Oh.
the city of Quincy got all the granite and about 13 or 14 of these polished pink columns that would surround the bottom of the
I
building.
see them there in that picture. Yeah.
The city has all of this granite.
Oh, really?
I asked the mayor, I said, gee, you know, it's part of the city of Quincy history, the granite history. Can we get a couple of the columns and the actual bases of the columns? And he said, sure. And I'll give you actually the Malnati block sign that went over the opening right at the front of the building. There's
There
a
it
shot of
is.
it right there.
Yeah, okay.
So actually the mayor said, yep, you can have them.
Great.
So they brought them up to the Attorney Mill. We got them on display there.
Okay.
But as I was going through a picture to try to find some information on the Malnati block,
Yeah.
that picture came up. I never knew there was a second floor on that Malnati building.
There was.
Well, in the picture.
Oh, on the picture, yes.
Picture.
Okay.
That was in 1932.
Okay.
Evidently, there was a fire. They took the top second floor off, and then it ended up with what we commonly saw at all the Italian festival, was just that lower section.
Oh,
You know?
interesting. Okay.
So it was kind of interesting when we did the history on the Minardi building
Yeah.
to find out it actually was a two-story building back in 1932. you
Okay.
know? So-
All right. So you've got a piece of history here,
Here,
at the
right,
museum, and in that photograph as
And that-
well.
Right, yeah.
To show that building. Yeah. Very good. So will the folks be able to see that
Yeah,
at the museum?
That's
Okay.
at the museum. We got
Okay.
that with the interpretive information around there.
Excellent.
you know.
Very nice. A couple of more here.
Yeah, this is actually a mast and boom that was actually at the Inclined Plane Railway
Okay.
on Mullen Avenue for years. It doesn't belong there. The city just stored it there. And again, we had the riggers move it up to the actual turning mill now. So we actually got a mast and boom located right at the edge of the Lions Quarry now,
Okay.
which is another great artifact, part of the granite history.
Yeah. So this would have been used to hoist
Hoist the granite
blocks
out of the quarry.
out of the
yeah.
quarry. Okay.
We're never going to be able to erect it, but just laying there, letting people see what a mast and boom and the size of it was.
Yes.
You know, the physical size, it'll actually be great.
Yeah, it's it's hard to tell from a photograph, but if a person were standing next to that,
Next to that.
where would their head come on that? I mean, because that's probably what,
Oh yeah.
15 feet tall,
Yeah,
something.
right. Yeah. Yeah, it's just massive. you
It's
know.
until you see it up close.
To actually physically see one up close, you can't imagine how big these mast and booms were to lift these granite blocks out of the quarry.
Yes,
you know.
yes,
So
exactly.
that's another great artifact we've got now.
Excellent.
New this year here.
Okay, all right. So some great new things
Yeah.
for folks to see, and a nice, comfortable sitting area.
That's it. Yeah, what we've introduced is some sitting areas around the quarry area and around the museum.
Yes.
People just like to walk around and sit.
Yeah.
You know, so this is one of the benches we sit right at. It's really not right at the edge of the quarry. It is kind of at the edge of the quarry, but it's not
Well, you can
dangerously.
see the quarry there in the distance.
You can see the quarry
Yeah.
in the. People just like to sit and just kind of enjoy the environment. Usually there's always ducks and geese and everything in the quarry in the summertime. So we've added these little seats around that people can. And we get a lot of older people, and older people like to take a rest once in a while.
That's because they're smart and they know when to take a break.
Take a
and
break,
enjoy
yeah,
the sunshine. And it is just kind of secluded up there.
So we've added a lot of little seating areas now around there, so
Very
you can just
nice.
sit and relax and enjoy the environment of the quarry industry.
Yeah, here's a great.
Yeah.
All you need is a fire pit in the middle there, and there's
I don't know. If we need fire permit, we'll probably have to get some kind of a permit. So we're going to stay away from the
that's right,
fire
that's
permit.
it.
We're gonna stay
Sorry,
away
Chief Jackson. No fire
no
pit.
fire permit, yeah. But again, this is just an area we put, and we got an interpretive sign in. On the interpretive sign it says, "Come sit and just talk to us and tell us some of the stories
right?
that you might have."
Yeah.
These are the things that are not written down that we
Yes.
get from just by speaking to people.
Yes.
And if you don't speak to people and get this information from them, it's lost forever once they're gone. So hopefully we'll get people to sit around, and we have had people sit around already because we did this at the end of the year last year, and it worked out great. So this is
Yeah.
another little addition
And oral history is such a critical part of preserving
of
history.
preserving history.
It
And
really is.
and again, that was the idea of having these seats there to get this oral history.
Yep.
This is kind of I called it a sidewalk display.
Okay.
This actually, you can see it it's right against the sidewalk on
Oh,
Quarry
as you
Hills
drive by
Drive.
on the left-hand side there?
As you walk
Yep.
by on the left-hand side. This
Okay.
is the actual little geology building we have,
I see.
And we mounted some of these tools with the interpretive information, so anybody just walking by the sidewalk can just view some of the tools and the artifacts.
Oh, okay.
Which, again, makes it a little interesting. They might come back and visit us.
Exactly,
So,
yeah. Now, is that up all year round, Al? That display? That one we just saw?
Just the shot it's up right now, yeah.
It's up all year round?
All year round.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've preserved those tools, and they're just mounted on the side of the building. So we
Yeah.
leave it up there all year round.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. So again, the opening weekend is this weekend, right? Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 3.
11 to 3,
Both
yeah.
days, you'll be there.
We'll be there.
It is free admission.
It is free admission,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
And you said the first weekend of every month?
First weekend of every month through November.
Okay, all right. Check your website. And I have in my hot little hands, if folks want to get a copy of
Yes, our Granite Chips.
Granite
Yeah,
Chips
yeah.
newsletter.
We put that out 4 times a year.
Yep.
And we'll send it out to anybody that wants it. You know, we send it out to all our members. And like I say, we got a lot of good news in there and a lot of things that are happening, you know.
Absolutely. Al, it's always great to catch up with you.
Joe, it's always great to be here. And like I say, Joe, we're chipping away at it, but don't take it for granted.
Thank you. now the show is complete. We love that.
We end with that, I guess. Thank you, Joe,
You're
again.
welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it, Al. Just enough time to check the forecast for you for the rest of the day. Today, it'll be a bright but brisk and breezy with temperatures in the mid-40s, the wind making you feel a little chillier, down to the lower 30s this evening. March comes in tomorrow with warmer temperatures. It'll still be windy, but highs in the low 50s, and then we bottom out again tomorrow night down to the teens. A sunny, cold day on Sunday, and kind of the same on Monday. A slow warm-up into next week, so be prepared for some changes. Thanks again to Al Bina for joining us from the Quincy Quarry and Granite Workers Museum.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Monday here on the show, Kurt Graham, the director of the soon-to-be Adams Presidential Center, will be joining us here on the program. Meantime, check our website anytime, qatv.org. All of our latest programs, there's news, there's information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.